Hello, everybody. This is Dr. McGuire, founder of Higher Education Assist. We're back with another session of perspective. As we know, we look for an individual out in the community who is inspirational, motivational, and everything in between. Today, I have Aaron. How are you, Aaron?
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Okay, cool, cool. He is the owner of A Game Fitness and Performance. I just want everybody to know that. Why I picked Aaron for our session today. Um, this is an individual who I thought who thinks is very inspirational and motivational. And I just wanted to share with everybody his path and what drove him and what continues to drive him on a daily basis to be the best that he can be. He's a coach, he's a mentor, he's a trainer, and everything in between, right? Aaron, let's start with college, right? Since we try to tie in college and career together, right? Some people say that I don't have to go to college or I just want to do my career, so on and so forth. But often there is a correlation between a career and an education. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess we have to go back a few years, maybe. Um, why did you go to college? I know you did, but tell us why you decided to do that.
Um, uh, at that particular time, I wanted to extend my football career, play a little bit football, and then at the time, I started college. I was a business major, and then I switched over to physical education. At that time, they called it physical education professional, which basically is exercise science. Of today,
Mhm.
I attended Wesley College in Dover, Delaware. Had a great time there. It was a good school, good experience. But I would say my drive was just to become better. I always wanted to be better. I'm not going to sit down here and act like I was the best student in the world. I had to work my butt off. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I learned how to study until I got to college, and I started to figure out how to do things a little bit better, and learned a lot of things about myself that I learned in college that I use even to today.
Well, let's stick that the college world for a second. Who, if anybody, was a role model for you or an influence to you growing up? Was there anybody?
I had a few people. I had a couple cousins that I kind of looked up to. Um, you know, Probably mostly relatives that I would say offhand.
Hmm.
Yeah, that I would say were
Okay.
influences. Um, Being the middle child, I kind of was like that type of person that even though I had an older brother, I kind of was on my own
Hmm.
thing. I didn't want to follow after his path, so I kind of wanted to do my own thing. But I would probably say probably my older cousin Sean. He played football in college. I had the same number he had. I kind of just liked his drive, him personally.
Hmm.
He used
Hmm.
to just always, take me out running hills, doing things like that, and just kind of pushed me. He was like, "You know what you're doing," and he would just always, even when I thought I was good, he would be like, "You can be better." So,
Yeah.
he's bigger, stronger than me. So I always had to keep up with him. So it was cool to be able to keep up with my cousin Sean.
Would you say if it wasn't for him that, or if it wasn't for football, I'm sorry, would you still go to college?
I think I still would have went, but it definitely was a catalyst and a drive for me. It was
Hmm.
only Division 3, but I mean, I still coach football to this day, and I really love the game of football. So I definitely would say it's definitely a catalyst of me going to college. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get closer to the end of college. What did that look like for you senior year? Did you know what you wanted to do? Did you have options?
Probably at the time I had a couple options. Like definitely was thinking about going into teaching.
Hmm.
I happened to, when I got out of school, I was working at some, I don't want to call them detention centers, but they were schools for kids that, basically got into trouble.
Hmm.
And they looked for a lot of us that were in historical Black fraternities to mentor these kids. So that's probably where the first mentorship type of stuff came with them. I worked at a school by the name of Glen Mills at the time. And then I also did a couple other schools through Philadelphia that I always worked with kids that had behavior problems.
Okay, so you mentioned the mentorship piece. Why is mentoring important to you, and mentorship in general? What's the value in it?
Well, I mean, I almost look at it as like a trade, like, you know, like you got plumbing and electrician, they have apprenticeships and stuff like that. I think that if a person that has already been through it and gone through it, and that they can give you a couple pieces of advice, it's like priceless. You know what I mean? I remember first getting into the personal training game, I would just follow certain trainers around that I knew were making very good money, or just taking pieces from different people and learning from them, because I just wanted to be a sponge and learn as much from them. So I just feel as though, in a way, I'm just giving back to what people did for me.
Right. Yep. We were cutting out for a second there. No,
Yeah.
and I totally get that. So, at what point did you decide to transition into your own business, specifically fitness?
Um,
And why?
Probably. And why? I mean, I've always had like a crazy thing for just learning how the body worked, not just getting bigger, stronger, faster. It was also the rehab part of it too. So I always had like this mixed type of thing. Like, yeah, of course, I wanted people to get bigger, stronger, and faster. And now I've even evolved more into the therapy part of it. And then now it's like a weight loss thing and adding it all together. So like I like to do all different types of things. So I would guess, my passion for just seeing how the human body responds to stress on it, so to speak, and to get to a different level. Um, and then I guess the other question, I guess, about having your own business, it was just something I always wanted. I always wanted to have my own business. I wanted to call myself my own boss. I didn't like working for other people. I'd be straight up honest with you. I like to always do my type of thing. But it was a challenging thing for me personally. Like if I, want to be really brutally honest with you, is I was a very good trainer, and I flat out say it. Okay. But I had to bridge the whole business and the trainer together and get them at the same level when the trainer was up here and the business person was here. So what I did was I get a little nuts, but I just put the blinders on and did the same thing that I did in personal training. I wanted to go mentor and talk to all these people. Um, like
Yeah.
I'll share something with you real quickly. One of my things is I don't think I'm like a very smart individual. You know what I'm saying? And that's a thing to me. So one of the things that I did personally is like when I feel that anxiety in my chest, when I'm around somebody that I feel as though that is smarter than I am, I force myself to have a cup of coffee with them, because I always believe in
Wow.
going after your comfort zone, stepping outside of your comfort zone. You have to do that. So like I would always get this anxiety, like, oh my God, this person's making me feel like a freaking idiot. He's smarter than I am. So like now what I force myself to do is I was like, yo, John, whatever your name is, I would sit down there and be like, can I have a cup of coffee with you and just, bounce some things. Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. They said yes, boom, went over there, sucked them dry, just like some people would do to me. And like, that's why when people call me and say, hey, Aaron, can I just talk to you? I'd be like, all right, it's fine. Because I did that with a lot of other people. But the comfort level thing, like I found that you have to literally get comfortable being uncomfortable in order to grow. And I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer in that. And I did a lot of things in my life that have really scared to death out of me, but it has made me grow incredibly.
Can you share one of those things with us? I don't want to put you on the spot. If you can, if not, that's fine. What? Yeah.
So I'll go back into the whole thing. Like before, like I actually owned a business with another person, and me and my business partner decided to split ways. We won't go into detail about everything with that. So I actually owned another gym before I owned A Game. So going back to what I just said, that, I was a good trainer, and, my business knowledge was not there. So like, that's what I did. I dug my head in the books and trying to get myself better. talked to different people that have been in the business for a long time and did a lot of things that kind of like scared me to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And talking to those people, going to seminars, going to talk to not just people in the fitness business, but other type of businesses, taking what their drive was, or taking what their why was, or taking whatever was going on and trying to put that all together and making it mine. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did with myself. Like, I could talk to people in my family, I could talk to people that are whatever, but like that was a really strange time for me because at a
Mm-hmm.
period of time, I didn't think that I was going to ever have an A game. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I thought I
Mm-hmm.
was going to be a trainer because the way how it was kind of in my brain was like, okay, and I used this as a trigger. Okay, this was my drive at the time. They said, basically I would only be a trainer. So I use that
Mm-hmm.
as like my drive. Like, oh, you're just a
Motivation. Mm-hmm.
trainer. So that's my drive to be like, I'm not just a trainer. I mean, I think I've been very successful for the last 7 years. I've been able to do things that I never thought I was going to be able to do. And I know I use that as a thing to kind of catapult me. But,
Mm-hmm.
I guess that would probably be like a little bit of the drive to try to get me to where I'm at right now, I guess. Yeah.
That's valuable what you said, and I think a lot of people can learn from that because when they have their insecurities and they tighten up, right, they tend to, as you know, hide, I guess. But to do what you do and confront that and talk to people to learn from it, you're educating yourself every day, and it's very important. And I'm glad that we that I have you on here today to talk about that. One of my things is it's always been the case that I try to learn one thing new from somebody every day. It could be the most silliest thing, just walking by, talking to somebody. But I agree. The more we learn about each other and how people are different and their experiences, awesome, awesome. So what are some of the, tying that all together, what have been some of your highs, some of your lows? And you kind of touched base on it a little bit, but what's one thing that you still not necessarily need to prove, but what do you want to accomplish, if at all, from a goal perspective in your business? Have you gotten to that point yet?
I mean, I think you should never have that ceiling. I think that wherever your ceiling is or wherever your goal is at, that ceiling is always going to move up, first of all. You know what I'm saying? So like at a period of time, let's just say I wanted to have this many trainers, or I wanted to have this many classes. For me, right now, I want my business to be at a situation in which it basically can run itself, which it basically does to a certain extent. But I almost want it to be like all I got to do is just walk into it. So that's just one of
Right.
my goals. I train right now, not off of necessity. I train it because I just love it. You know what I mean? Just like I be around kids. Do I need to? No, I really don't. But, I used to teach 10 classes a week, like where now I don't teach none. You know what I mean? I only
No.
train 4 days a week, where I used to train 7 days a week. You know what I mean? So, a business should be able to run when the owner's not there. I
Mm-hmm.
think, you almost got to look at your business like, somebody gave me very good advice. Like as far as like everybody knows what McDonald's is about. They know what those arches are. So like I want everybody to know what this is. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Brand.
when
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows my brand, they know that if I have Brandon as my trainer or Julian as my trainer, or whoever my trainers are, Mo or Sinead, they know that I brought them in and it's a high standard. So if
Mm-hmm.
I have them work with them, they know that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the brand that I made. I've also made a brand of being community. I made a brand of being real. I made a brand of being like family. And that's the way I want it to be. Honestly, I want my place to be like Cheers, real 100. I'm gonna know everybody's name when they walk in that door. If you're my personal client or you're working with one of my trainers,
That's cool.
like if I see somebody in there that's an unfamiliar face, I'll literally like, let's just say I'm talking to Heather and Heather's in the gym or whatever. Like, hold on a second, I got to go over there and talk to this person. I might have seen the person come up on my phone and I saw that they paid me, but that's great. But I'm gonna be like, hey, how you doing? I make a point of that because I think that's the difference between, a person. Yeah, it's real good that I know your last 4 digits on your credit card, but that don't mean nothing. I want a name, I want a face, I I want to know if your kid had confirmation. If your mother passed away, I'm giving you flowers, blah, 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 blah. That's how I am. You know what I mean? And I think,
Well, let me ask you, can that be taught? Can that skill be taught?
I think it can be, but I think some people are more natural than others. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, that is my strength. I know that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I get that from my mother because she's that way, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I'm a people person. I like people, I like being around people. You know, and I feed off of people. And I love to see people get results and get stuff out of you know, working hard and hard work and learning from it.
Right. What deficiencies do you think business owners in general, now having gone through it for a while for yourself,
Deficiency.
do they lack? Well, deficiencies. What do you think entrepreneurs lack in terms of skills?
They get so like black and white and so number oriented. Sometimes they forget to be a person. I think that happens a lot. I do think a lot of times with the generation, they're so tech savvy and all this other stuff, they forget how to actually have a conversation like this. They don't know what a wrinkled forehead is. They don't know what an eyebrow means. They don't understand mannerisms because they don't know how to do it. It is a lost art. I'll share something with you, and I actually say this to a lot of my kids that are my mentors. I say to them, like I said, listen, I said, I'm gonna tell you something. I said, all this texting and email, it's great. You know what I'm saying? It's great you can send an email, but can you have a conversation with somebody?
Yeah.
And a lot of them can't. That's the crazy thing. And they can have some of the best grades in the world, but a lot of them cannot do this. They can't have a conversation.
Yeah, but I agree. And I think that could be a gray area when we ask that question about the ability to have a conversation, right? So my argument would be in that arena, what does that mean? Can you have a conversation with somebody? We get the gist of it, but how do you break that down even further in terms of a conversation to make that individual understand that, hey, you need to be a people person?
Well, a people person thing is like, one, you want to make sure that individual knows you're listening. And then you actually do want to listen. And then you can actually give feedback to that. I think that's another lost art that happens. I think people listen to, they listen to almost like respond, like just to hurry up and give out something real quick instead of actually processing the information and then talking.
I think you need to have a class just on that.
Yeah.
One of the best class I've ever taken throughout all my schooling was nonverbal communication. Think about that.
Look at
your mannerisms, everything you do, right?
Right.
Without even saying anything. It's crazy. All right, just a few more things. So let me get back to goals. Do you recommend an individual setting goals for themselves?
Yes.
Okay. How far out would you say is appropriate, if at all? Is there a timeline?
No real timeline. I'm big on like short-term and long-term goals. And then the other thing is just realistic goals. Like, you know, do I want to be a billionaire? Yeah. Is that realistic right now? No, it's not. It just is. You know what I'm saying? You just got to keep it real 100. You know what I'm saying? Like I have people come to me like, Aaron, I want to lose 100 pounds by Friday. Is that realistic? No, it's not. So you have to just be realistic with these goals and call it a day. I am a goal-driven person, and I kind of reward myself off of goals. I make goals at the beginning of the year. I make on New Year's Eve. I set my goals. I do personal goals. I do business goals, and then I do spiritual goals. And then I make 5 of each, and then I see at the next year, I see which ones I've successfully taken part of.
All right, stay with me here with this process here. So your goals, you can think them. How do you structure your goals? Do you write them down? What's your process?
I write mine down. I say them.
You just keep thinking about them and it comes naturally.
I like I said, I write them down, I look at them and I say them. I'm one of them type of people. I have to be able to look at it, and then I say it. And then like occasionally during the course of the year, I have my goals written down certain places, and then I will revisit them and see which one I've done.
Great. Awesome. Okay. So I won't hold you up. The last question I have, which is kind of what I started out at. So let's just say you have an individual, I'm sure you experienced this as a mentor. They don't necessarily know what they want to do post, let's say, high school or early adulthood. Not if they're not even sure if college is for them. There's no right or wrong. What suggestions would you give them? Advice?
I would say research everything, and look at the different colleges that you possibly want to go to. And the other thing is look at trades too, or apprenticeships and things like that.
Yeah.
College isn't for everybody, but I wouldn't say sit back and just twiddle your thumbs. I would sit down there and be proactive and go out so you can have options. You always want to have options and be able to educate yourself on your options. Because if you don't, then you have nothing else that you can do. You'll be stuck.
Right. Good advice. All right. Final question. And it could be not even politics, but it could be sports. It could be whoever you want it to be. Not a role model, but who do you think in the public eye, and I'm putting you on the spot, is a good role model / influence?
Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. And why?
I mean, the first thing is the person, this man of Zoobs, like everything that you want to be. He's kind of cool. He's collective. He always chooses his words very well. He has a flow to him, you know what I mean? And
a little swag, right?
He has a swag and articulate. And like for me personally, I'm not that. So like I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, like I told you, I get the same thing because I think he's so smart and so intelligent. And it's just like one of these type of people, like I would love to just if he was a regular person, just to suck him dry and kind of talk to him about some of his things. Cause I just think that he's an incredible person. Forget all the president stuff, but I just see him as being a role model on multiple levels. I see him being a person that seems like he can make firm decisions, but then the most important thing, going back to what we just talked about, those people skills are huge.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And to be able to juggle all those things and still to be able to keep it real. I mean, the crazy thing is like Barack Obama is a little dorky. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but that's who he is. And people still love him for that. We know that, you know what I mean? But like, that's how I look at him, regardless of him being the first African-American president. Yes, I'm very happy about that. But just who he is, like he's on my bucket list of people that I want to meet. And he's just an incredible person. So I would probably say right now in 2020, that is my, I guess, role model and person I just look up to.
Heck, you could have met him last week.
I wish. I told Heather.
Right? He was in Philly. Or the other day?
Yeah, I didn't know. We didn't know until the last minute, but I had a good friend of mine that actually passed away. He met him, and that probably would have been the closest I would have been able to meet him. He was in radio and all that stuff like that. But I had it, I just lived through a friend of mine, just to share something with you, the gentleman that passed away, E. Stephen Collins. He had met him and actually had dinner with him and all that stuff.
Wow.
Personality that he got a chance to meet him, and he was just like, Aaron, I mean, one of the most incredible men I've ever had a chance to meet, from everything, like from the way he talks to you, like you don't feel like he is the president of the United States. You just feel like he's your boy.
Yeah.
And that was one person. The next person is I had a chance to, I trained Jimmy Rollins for years. When they won the World Series, we were going somewhere with Jimmy, and Jimmy was like, yo, I said, he did he was like this. He brought me in. I said, what you mean? He brought you in. I was like, so like everybody gives you a handshake. It's a cultural thing, you understand. But like he'll bring you in, and it's like, no offense, Tom, like I shake your hand. But if I see somebody I'm bringing you in.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, he brought me in, like, and I was like, what? Like,
That's crazy.
I had a conversation like in his ear, like, yo, I saw what you did on the field, like that. That's what you did. Like he's paying attention to it. Like, and I've seen that. So, and then Heather and I have comments, like we always crack jokes. Like I was like, oh, I just did a Barack with him, and she'll know what I
Yeah.
did. So it's like a joke. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think there's an art to it when you go through life, though, early on, to have that being as charismatic as he is. And not that he's, I agree with you. But gee whiz, if anything, I mean, that in itself is an education, that the whole people skill component to life, crazy, right? That can get you where you want to be or closer to and everything in between.
Well, charismatic stuff can definitely help you, could kill you too. But I mean,
How can
sometimes
it kill you? Tell me how it can kill you.
I mean, hey, listen, sometimes your greatest strengths can be your greatest weaknesses and vice versa. I look into that too. So I tell people you got to have a nice balance. I mean, and myself being 47 years old, I'm excuse me, oh God, I gave myself a year, 46 years old. Okay. I still see like I'm still learning. I mean, I learned things from my 19-year-old daughter. You know, I just got
That's
back
cool.
from football practice, and my boys from 15 to 18 years old, they always like come to me, and you know, I learn things from them too. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
as I get older, it's funny, but like when I was in my 20s, I was a knucklehead. I didn't know. I thought I knew everything, but I knew absolutely nothing. But I will say that once I became like in my 40s, and I don't know if you feel the same way, Tom, I can actually sit back and kind of be like, oh,
You're assuming I'm at that point.
yeah, I know you're younger than me. So it's funny, like, but being like this age now, I can sit back and be like, that wasn't good that I just did that, and I'm okay with it. Where before I'd be like, oh, I'll be all defensive. I don't care no more. I'm old. I just say it like it is. I didn't make a good decision, and it's fine. And I just got to learn from the decision. You know what I mean? And from your mistakes. I think that's another thing too. You have to learn from your mistakes. Everything is a lesson. Everything is a teaching topic in some sort of way, and you have to learn from it. That's such as life. Because I think 2020, if anything, has taught us so many different lessons, and also taught us that we had to learn how to adapt very fast and have what I call short-term memory. I tell my quarterbacks that when they throw interceptions, short-term memory, that all right, it's gone, it's done, there's nothing you can do. Now let's go into the present and learn how to fix it and learn.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's what I learned from
Right.
Michigan. So.
Right. All right. Well, you know what I like about you, Aaron? You keep it real. And I think more people today should adopt that attitude and keeping it real. Too often, I think people have this wall up, right? Generally speaking, and that could be the society we live in today. But keeping it real to me is important, and I loved having you. Let's see your shirt. Let's see, bring that up a little bit. Let's see your A Game Fitness and Performance. There we go. So that's agamefitnessperformance.com, right? This is just want to reference what you do and all the good things to your.
Now, what I will say too, Tom, I do
well, I thank you for your time, Aaron. I really do.
Oh, no problem. I will say this: I do mentor programs at my gym, so I love to do that. Like, I'll take. Oh yeah, I do mentor programs all the time. I take people that are PE majors, exercise phys majors. I intern a lot of trainers, people that don't have any certifications. I teach them everything from training, and then I also teach that component of, like, you know, I have a girl, like, she's at Indiana. I have a girl at Westchester. I had a whole bunch of kids that have been from the high school into college, and then after they actually get done, like I had a girl who played 4 years at St. Joe's, and she came back, and she's one of my trainers now, and she was a lacrosse player.
Wow.
So,
cool.
You know, I like doing it just because I love kids, and kids keep me young. And I love hiring athletes too, because athletes have the trigger that I know how to push their buttons to get them to do more things. Because I love seeing the trigger. And athletes usually just have this drive, and I can just push the button, and I'm like, oh, I like that. Let's go.
I'm sorry. There's one thing I did want to ask you before we did end it, and we were headed that route for a second.
No
so, you know, for the sake of this program, the career and education, right? You know, we tie in what you do in the health, right? It's self-explanatory, but just stress the importance and the relevance of fitness to your mind, especially the two main factors of your life or components: career and education, right? just share with us how important that is, being fit. Now, fit to one person means, it's some different to somebody else. I get that. But you know where I'm going with this, right?
I know.
How important is it to stay, mind and body and
So let's just start talking about what's going on right now. We got a pandemic. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and we have to
yeah.
keep these bodies as strong as possible.
Mhm.
And good nutrition, diets is really good, and physical activity is making this body strong, and then that's going to help fight off this disease that possibly can happen. You know what I mean? And they've even said it. A lot of these doctors have said that the people that have the strong immune systems and the strong bodies and stuff like that are less susceptible of getting this virus. The people that have
Mhm.
compromised immune systems, now some things are genetic, and that is true. But
Mhm.
if you're taking care of your body and you're doing exercise, and going back to what you just said, like, do I expect like you to maybe do a whole bunch of burpees and all this other crazy stuff like I do and all this stuff? No, but if you're staying active and you're paying attention to what you're putting in your mouth and you're drinking enough water and things like that, and maybe you're taking different vitamins and you're paying attention what the doctor's telling you what to do with your cholesterol level, or if you have, like my family, like my mother's diabetic, both my parents have high blood pressure. That's something that affects a lot of African Americans. So I pay a lot of attention what I eat as far as sodium and things like that, because that's just in my chart. Like, I know that's going to be my issue for the rest of my life. It doesn't matter how many weights I lift, it doesn't matter how much I run.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. That's something that's always going to be somewhere in there because of the fact that that is hereditary. Okay. But
Yeah.
now that's going to the mental piece. For me personally, if I don't work out, it actually helps me with my anxiety. It helps me keep my mind clear, but then
Mhm.
also it helps me just feel better about myself because I'm accomplishing something, and those are the little goals. And then that makes me feel like I'm getting stuff done. Okay. And then I'm just
Yeah.
taking care of my body, which is my temple. And that's really what it is.
Right. Great advice. Great advice. All right. Well, I appreciate it, and we'll love to talk to you again soon in the future, if you're
Anytime.
okay with that.
Anytime. I got nothing but love for you. We talked about that before. You keep it real.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
That's why I was like, yo, he want me to do this. I got you all day long. You can call
I
me when.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate you paying it forward. All right, Aaron. Good talking to you. Until next time. Stay well. Okay.
Sounds good. Take it easy.
All right, Aaron. Thanks.
You already recorded me? Okay.
Here we go.